Didn't want gold, didn't want our land, just rummaging through the laundry stand. They said we've crossed the stars for cotton blends, toe-shaped fabrics, unmatched ends. But I slammed the hamper, drew the line, said hands off the clothes that are mine. You can't have our socks, no, no, no. We've bled too long to bear this load. You take the cows, you take the sky, but these old socks, you'll never cry. No, you can't have our socks tonight. They offered peace and cosmic tunes, a dryer that folds clothes by noon. But I saw through their alien lies, that's just bribery in disguise. Static crackled, laundry flew, steam rose where the sunlight grew. We stood proud with holes in heels, guardians of cotton, fate revealed. You can't have our socks, no, no, no. From laundromats to UFOs, you take the tech, you take the sky, but not the fabric of our pride. No, you can't have our socks tonight.
The first light of dawn didn't just creep over the blue mountains, it infiltrated. A slow, patient seep of pale gold and blush and rose through the valley's high, pine-fringed walls. It gilded the jagged, snow-dusted peaks, still holding the night's chill, painting their rugged faces in hues so soft and fleeting they seemed painted by a watercolorist's breath. Below, the town of Enterprise, Oregon, remained deeply ensconced in the arms of sleep, a landscape of weathered clapboard and quiet resilience nestled in the Wallowa Valley. The single ancient stoplight on Main Street blinked its monotonous red, green, yellow sequence into the empty thoroughfare with the weary rhythm of a drowsy heartbeat, utterly indifferent to the absence of traffic. From the direction of the Elkhorn Saloon, a persistent, low buzz hum drifted on the crisp morning air. The worn-out neon sign flickering erratically, its sound mimicking the erratic drone of a mosquito that had lingered too long at last night's bar, thoroughly inebriated and confused. The silence wasn't merely an absence of noise. It was a palpable, velvety presence, thick enough to muffle footsteps and heavy with the dew-kissed stillness of unbroken night. It was the kind of quiet that made you pause mid-thought, wondering if the universe itself had hit the snooze button on a cosmic alarm clock, granting the world an extra precious minute apiece. Inside a modest craftsman-style bungalow perched on the very edge of town, where the manicured lawns surrendered to wild meadow, Donna sat utterly alone. Sunlight, weak and tentative, streamed through the lace curtains, illuminating dust motes dancing above the scarred oak kitchen table, its surface a topographical map of years past, etched with knife nicks from birthday cakes, ring stains from countless mugs, and the faint watermarks of forgotten spills. Cradled carefully in her hands, warm in her palms, was her absolute favorite mug. It was objectively ridiculous, thick, hand-thrown ceramic adorned with wide-eyed, bulbous-headed aliens piloting a rickety flying saucer as it beamed up a startled cow beneath a swirling, glitter-dusted star field. Cheesy, yes, but purchased on a rare solo trip to Bend years ago, it was hers. And without fail, the sheer, unapologetic absurdity of it. The cow's bewildered expression, the alien's comically oversized eyes, tugged the corners of her mouth upwards, a private dawn greeting before the storm. This was her time. The sacred, vanishing sliver between the world holding its breath and the household exploding into motion. Before Tony, her husband of 20 years, would grunt and shift, his snores evolving from a gentle rumble into the full-throated chainsaw-like symphony that could rattle the windows, a sound she'd long ago learned to sleep through, though it still startled the dog. Before Carlin, 17 and perpetually plugged into another dimension, would flick on her trio of glowing monitors, the whirring fans spinning up like miniature jet engines preparing for a NASA launch sequence. Before Jessica, 15 and a walking investigative dynamo, would descend the stairs, not with footsteps, but with interrogation tactics, demanding to know who, in the name of all that was just, had dared to consume the very last cinnamon sugar Pop-Tart, leaving the package cruelly, mockingly empty. Before Anthony, 10 going on 10,000 in his quest to master the realms of Dungeons and Dragons, would arrive, hair defying gravity, clutching his well-thumbed player's handbook, his pajamas adorned with a slightly too small red cape, and demanding immediate, expert analysis. Could a hill giant actually beat 3 goblins in hand-to-hand combat if the goblins had surprise and poison darts? Because Gary Morris says yes, but he always cheats. For precisely 15 blessed minutes, measured by the slow sweep of the pendulum clock above the sink, another of Tony's permanent temporaries, held together by baling wire and hope, the entire house belonged solely to Donna. She sipped the dark, potent coffee, the steam curling towards her face, releasing a rich, nutty aroma laced with the faintest hint of caramel, the scent of sanity. She let her mind drift, untethered. The week yawned ahead, ferrying kids to soccer practice on muddy fields, her volunteer shift at the hushed, book-scented sanctuary of the library, the inevitable confrontation with Tony's half-finished plumbing project under the kitchen sink, currently held together with duct tape, a hose clamp, and sheer optimism, dripping a slow, rhythmic plank, plank, plank into a repurposed coffee can. Then there was the eternal Sisyphean battle with the determined mule deer who viewed her meticulously tended petunia patch, a vibrant splash of purple defiance against the green, as a divine smorgasbord. She thought, too, about the unchanging rhythm of enterprise itself. The same gossip circulating like familiar birdsong through the aisles of the mercantile. The weekly Bigfoot sightings reported with solemn conviction, always debunked as bears or lost hikers. The fiercely competitive pie-eating contest, where the real drama was Mrs. Young's rhubarb crumble versus old man Jenkins' dubious meat pie. And in that quiet, she felt it again, the deep bedrock certainty that despite the glorious, exhausting chaos, she loved this life with a fierceness that surprised her sometimes.
Cool beans.
It was her armor against the minor disasters of domestic life. Her mantra, invoked with equal sincerity for burnt toast landing carpet side down, or the toaster's latest attempt to achieve escape velocity. It was undeniably silly, a relic from her college days. But it worked. It grounded her. It turned frustration into a chuckle. A heavy, metallic clunk echoed from the depths of the refrigerator, startling her. Donna froze, mug halfway to her lips, her eyes narrowing as she assessed the offending appliance. This fridge had a documented history of mutiny. Last winter, it had groaned ominously for 3 days before abruptly going silent, requiring Tony to diagnose it with a multimeter he barely understood. The washing machine, bless its cotton-clad soul, had once actually developed enough momentum mid-spin cycle to knock the back door off its latch during a thunderstorm, narrowly avoiding a dash for freedom into the rain-slicked yard. And the toaster? It harbored ambitions of being a trebuchet, launching untoasted bread with alarming force if the slots sensed disrespect. A dry smirk touched her lips.
Mental note. Grocery list. Milk, eggs, duct tape, heavy duty, and appliance uprising contingency plan, i.e., bribe Tony with beer.
Then, the subtlest of sounds, a sharp, protesting creak from the floorboards directly above her head. Her heart sank just a fraction. Anthony's room. The sacred silence had lasted precisely 14 minutes and 52 seconds. So much for quiet time. Tony, still upstairs, sprawled eagle-like across their king-size bed, limbs akimbo like a felled tree. A lifetime of wrestling stubborn pipes and creaking roof shingles had etched lines of good-natured weariness around his eyes. His trade as a handyman meant their home was less a dwelling and more a living museum exhibit titled The Evolution of Temporary Fixes. Duct tape wasn't just a tool, it was his primary language of affection and problem solving. Holding together the porch railing, patching the garden hose, even securing the hinge on Carlin's desk chair. His toolbox was a Pandora's box of half-solutions. Carlin was undoubtedly already awake, bathed in the cool blue glow of 3 massive monitors arranged like a control panel for some digital mission. Fingers flew across a mechanical keyboard, coding intricate algorithms or debugging complex programs with a speed that left Donna feeling like she was operating a dial-up modem next to a 5G network. She navigated algebra textbooks with the effortless precision of a seasoned pilot, while Donna was still trying to remember how to microwave popcorn without it catching fire. Jessica was likely hunched over her spiral-bound notebook, the pen flying as she drafted the next explosive expose for the Enterprise Eagle. Circulation 250. Her journalistic fervor knew no bounds. Last Tuesday, she'd grilled the mayor for 20 minutes on photographic evidence, a blurry patch of shadows, suggesting his prize roses concealed a full-scale gnome army. The previous Monday, she'd presented Donna with meticulously compiled facts, attempting to prove the beloved, card-wearing Mrs. Gable, the librarian, was actually a retired MI6 operative specializing in rare book acquisitions. Anthony would tumble down the stairs any moment now, sleep must-have defying physics, his beloved D&D player's handbook clutched to his chest like a sacred text, already whispering incantations under his breath. Breakfast wouldn't just be cereal, it would be a charisma +2 vitality boost, requiring specific colored marshmallows arranged in a pentagram. Donna smiled into the dregs of her coffee, the warmth spreading through her chest. Her family wasn't just chaotic. It was a beautiful, bewildering tapestry of tangled headphones, mismatched socks, and pure, unadulterated life, all wrapped snugly in well-worn quilts. And she wouldn't trade a single thread for anything in the world. Well, almost nothing. Maybe, just maybe, for a dishwasher that didn't sound like a walrus gargling rocks during its final desperate moments. But even that, she conceded, was negotiable. The chaos was the price of admission for the love. Her gaze drifted out the window to the petunia patch, a defiant burst of vibrant purple holding its own against the lingering morning mist. She'd nurtured those blooms from seed, her pride and joy, only to watch the local deer treat 'em as an exclusive all-you-can-eat brunch buffet. She'd chased him off with her trusty super soaker so relentlessly, earning nicknames like the Squirt Gun Widow from the local farmers, she half expected to see a deer-sized support group meeting under the old oak tree, Hoof Anonymous, sharing stories of close calls with caffeine-fueled gardeners. Enterprise itself was finally stretching awake. Across the street, true to form, old man Jenkins had materialized on his weathered porch swing, binoculars trained intently on the tree line bordering his property.
Another Bigfoot sighting incoming. Spoiler alert, still just Bert the bear looking for berries.
The Elkhorn Saloon's neon sign finally stabilized, casting its familiar, slightly seedy red glow onto the sidewalk. The stoplight on Main Street continued its lethargic blinking. Red, green, yellow. A perfect metaphor for the town's unhurried pulse. Life here didn't race. It meandered like the wallow a river. Predictable as the sunrise, comfortable as an old flannel shirt. Donna lifted her mug for one last slow sip, savoring the fragile illusion of peace before the inevitable. The illusion shattered, not with a whisper, but with a resonant thud from the second floor, followed instantly by the sharp staccato exchange of teenage voices, the unmistakable opening salvos of conflict.
I told you not to touch my socks, the lucky ones. I didn't touch your stupid socks. Why on earth would I want your boring, holy gray monstrosities when I have perfectly good socks of my own? They are not boring. They're lucky. I wore them exactly when I aced the regional coding championship. You know that.
Oh, please. Socks don't make you smart. If they did, Anthony would be solving quantum physics in his mismatched Star Wars pajamas by now.
Donna closed her eyes, pinching the bridge of her nose. She'd navigated the volcanic terrain of toddler tantrums, the emotional quakes of middle school drama, and Tony's infamous attempt to unclog the dishwasher drain with a turkey baster, resulting in a minor flood and a permanently altered sink configuration. But nothing, absolutely nothing, possessed the relentless, petty, deeply personal intensity of a fully escalated teenage sock war. The thud crescendo as the girls stormed into the kitchen. Carlin, face flushed, brandished a single, threadbare gray athletic sock with a distinct hole near the big toe, like it was Exhibit A in the O.J. Simpson trial. Jessica countered by waving a violently neon-striped sock that looked like it had escaped from a circus clown's trunk, one end slightly singed, likely from Carlin's laptop charger. Donna raised her nearly empty mug slowly. A weary ref's whistle made of ceramic.
Cool beans, ladies. What's the emergency? Did the Pop-Tarts stage a coup?
She stole my lucky sock. I know she did. It was right there after laundry.
I did not. She loses everything and automatically blames me.
Next, she'll accuse me of stealing her laptop password again.
You did last week for that ridiculous investigative piece on the cafeteria meatloaf.
That was purely journalistic integrity, investigative purposes. It's vital to know if we're eating recycled roadkill.
Girls, it's 6:30 in the morning. The only thing I want to investigate right now is whether my toast will successfully eject itself into low Earth orbit again today.
As if summoned by her words, the toaster emitted a deep, ominous click, followed by a low, threatening hum. Just then, Anthony wandered in, hair resembling a startled badger's nest, clutching his D&D manual like a shield. He blinked owlishly at the sock-waving combatants.
Whoa, are we fighting goblins already? Sweet! Can I be the rogue? I call dibs on the +2 socks of invisibility. Those look stealthy.
Carlin groaned, burying her face in her hands. Jessica rolled her eyes so hard, Donna feared they might get stuck. Donna simply laughed a low, warm chuckle that cut through the tension.
Cool beans, Anthony. Maybe you can referee the sock wars after breakfast. Right now, Mom needs more coffee. Or possibly existential dread.
Donna, what's the satrap? Did the washing machine finally achieve sentience and break out again?
Nope, honey. Just your daughters, engaged in full-scale combat over socks.
Figures. Donna leaned back in the creaky wooden chair, the battlefield calm settling briefly as Jessica snatched her neon sock back and Carlin retreated, muttering about encryptions. The familiar storm of bickering, bargaining, and the chaotic preparation for the day's skirmishes swirled around her. Anthony demanding charisma-boosting cereal, Carlin typing furiously while shoving granola bars in her mouth, Jessica scribbling notes mid-argument about sock jurisdiction. Enterprise, Oregon might slumber under the golden mountain light, a picture postcard, a quiet Americana. But inside the Wagner household, mornings were a vibrant, deafening, utterly alive symphony of clattering dishes, teenage angst, D&D dice rolls, and the persistent hum of rebellion from the kitchen appliances. It was messy. It was loud. It was gloriously, imperfectly hers. She drained the last cooling drop of coffee, savoring the familiar warmth spreading through her, and thought, not for the first time, that socks, humble elastic tubes of cotton, had an almost supernatural ability to cause more disproportionate chaos, heartache, and diplomatic standoffs than international treaties. She had no idea just how profoundly, hilariously, and catastrophically right she was. The toaster chose that exact moment to let out a sound like a dying robot clearing its throat. And high above, old man Jenkins's excited shout carried faintly on the breeze.
I see it! It's big, and it's hairy!
The battle lines, it seemed, were being drawn on multiple fronts. Donna just smiled and reached for the duct tape. The day had truly begun.
Cool beans.
Toast in the washer, sound the alarm. Our dirty laundry is our charm. Folded flags on the clothesline sway. No alien feet will walk this way. This is Earth Command. We will defend every last unmatched friend. You can't have our socks. No, no, no. They're stitched with dreams you'll never know. From the dawn's first light to midnight sky.